Hi folks and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Alan, your regular quizmaster and host, and today's quiz is a 50 question, non-multiple choice, general knowledge challenge. Grab pen and paper to keep track of your scores, and don't forget to post your score in the comments below at the end of the video. Get comfy and make yourself at home. Well, you probably are at home, so let's do this. Round 1 should be a piece of cake, well, at least if you're a seasoned quizzer. The first 10 questions are on easy mode, but don't get too comfortable, they'll get harder as we go. Good luck, let's crack on with the quiz. Question 1. Which actor starred as the man with no name in the 1968 Western film The Good, the Bad and the Ugly? And that was the actor Clint Eastwood. Clint Eastwood is not just a legendary actor and director, he is also an accomplished musician. He composed the scores for several of his own films, including Mystic River, $1 Million Baby and Gran Torino. Question 2. Bat Out of Hell was a 1977 album by which artist? And that artist was Meat Loaf. Before becoming a rock icon, Meat Loaf appeared on the original stage show of the Rocky Horror Picture Show in the role of Eddie. He later reprised the role in the 1975 cult film. Question 3. What three colours make up the French national flag? It is made up of blue, white and red stripes. The colours of the French flag were chosen during the French Revolution and symbolise key revolutionary ideals: liberty, equality and fraternity. Question 4. What nationality was the painter and artist Pablo Picasso? He was in fact Spanish. Pablo Picasso's full name is extremely long, and you can read it on the screen because I'll never manage to read it all out. Question 5. Which English author created the character Oliver Twist? Oliver Twist was created by Charles Dickens, who in his own lifetime was so famous that he performed his own work to sold-out crowds, acting out every character with voices and gestures, just like a one-man play. Question 6. Which actor played the role of Maverick in the film Top Gun? And he was played by Tom Cruise. In both Top Gun films, the enemy's country is never identified or named. This helped avoid geopolitical controversy and kept the focus on the action. Question 7. Emus are native to which country? They are native to Australia. Emus can't fly, but they're excellent runners, reaching speeds of up to 50 kilometers an hour. They use their powerful legs not just for running, but also for kicking if threatened. Question 8. What gas do plants take in from the air to help them make food through photosynthesis? They absorb carbon dioxide. Photosynthesis not only powers plants, it fuels the entire food chain. Herbivores eat the plants, carnivores eat the herbivores, and without it, most life on Earth wouldn't survive. Question 9. Justin Timberlake was a member of which boy band? He was a member of NSYNC. Before NSYNC, Justin Timberlake got his break on the Mickey Mouse Club, where he performed alongside future stars like Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera and Ryan Gosling. Question 10. Which Jamaican sprinter broke the 100 metres world record in 2009 with a time of 9.58 seconds? And that was Usain Bolt. Usain's top speed during the 100 metres was about 27.8 miles per hour. That's faster than most racehorses at full gallop. He covered each 10 metres in under a second on average. Hopefully you didn't find those too bad. Alright, the next 20 coming up. Tricky, but hopefully not too tricky. Just enough to give your brain a bit of a stretch. Let's crack on. Question 11. In which year did the Soviet Union officially collapse? And that was in 1991. The Soviet Union dissolved on the 26th of December 1991, the red hammer and sickle flag was lowered from the Kremlin, and Russia's white, blue and red tricolour flag was raised the next day. Question 12. Fe is the chemical symbol of which metallic element? It is the symbol for iron. Fe comes from the Latin word ferrum, which means iron. That's also where we get the word ferrous. Question 13. Jack the Dripper is a nickname for which American artist and painter? And that is Jackson Pollock. Jackson Pollock sometimes used household paints instead of traditional artist paints, and he often painted on the floor to feel more in the artwork rather than separate from it. Question 14. William McKinley High is the name of the school featured in which musical TV series? And that is a school in Glee. Several of the songs performed on Glee became real-life chart hits. The cast cover of Don't Stop Believin' reached the top 5 on the Billboard Hot 100. Question 15. Michael Phelps won 23 Olympic gold medals in which sport? He was a swimmer. Michael Phelps is the most decorated Olympian of all time, with a total of 28 medals earned across 4 Olympic Games. 23 of them were gold. Question 16. Robert Plant was the lead singer for which British rock band during the 1970s? He was the lead singer of Led Zeppelin. Led Zeppelin avoided releasing singles in the UK as they believed their albums should be heard as complete works, not broken into radio hits. They still became one of the best-selling rock bands of all time. Question 17. Which cartoon character lives in the Pacific Ocean at Bikini Bottom? And that is SpongeBob SquarePants. Bikini Bottom is a fictional underwater city inspired by the real Bikini Atoll in the Pacific Ocean. It's a site of US nuclear tests. Question 18. The Hay Wain is a painting by which British artist? And that is by John Constable. The Hay Wain was painted in 1821 and is one of the most celebrated landscape paintings in British art. It depicts rural life along the River Stour on the border of Suffolk and Essex. Question 19. Which sportswear manufacturer and brand was founded by Adolf Dassler in Germany in 1949? And that is the brand Adidas. The sports brand Puma was actually founded a year earlier by his brother Rudolf Dassler. Their sibling rivalry gave rise to 2 of sports global brands from the same German town. Question 20. In what organ of the human body would you find the hippocampus? And you would find it in the brain. The hippocampus plays a key role in the formation of memories. It is named after the Greek word for seahorse because of its curved shape. Question 21. The unicorn is the national animal of which country? It is the national animal of Scotland. In Celtic myth, the unicorn stood for innocence, power and pride, traits Scots admired. It's been on their coat of arms since the 12th century and is often shown chained to represent a tamed yet mighty beast. Question 22. Lyme disease is spread by which insect? It is spread by ticks. Lyme disease is transmitted by black-legged ticks, often called deer ticks. It is named after the town of Lyme in Connecticut, where it was first identified in the 1970s. Question 23. Which country is the largest in Africa by area? And that is the country of Algeria. It covers 2.3 million square kilometres, making it not only the largest country in Africa, but also the 10th largest country in the world. Question 24. The 1970s disco band Boney M were formed in which country? They were formed in Germany. Boney M was created by German producer Frank Farian, and although the group members came from the Caribbean, the act was formed and produced in the then West Germany. Question 25. Marie Antoinette was married to which French king? She was married to Louis XVI. Marie Antoinette and Louis XVI were both executed during the French Revolution, symbolising the fall of the monarchy and the rise of the Republic in 18th century France. Question 26. Which character was the shrew in Shakespeare's Taming of the Shrew? And that was the character Catherine. The Taming of the Shrew is one of Shakespeare's most controversial plays and comedies due to its themes of gender roles, but it has inspired countless adaptations, including the film 10 Things I Hate About You. Question 27. In the card game Blackjack, going over which number means you go bust? And you go bust if you go over 21. Skilled card counters in Blackjack can shift the odds slightly in their favour, and famous teams like the MIT Blackjack team won millions before being banned from casinos. Question 28. What is the highest mountain in the Alps? And that is Mont Blanc. Mont Blanc, which means White Mountain, is the tallest peak in the Alps at 4,808 metres and lies on the border between France and Italy. Question 29. What is the nickname of the South African national rugby union team? They are known as the Springboks, and they have won 4 Rugby World Cups, and making them one of the most successful teams in rugby history. Question 30. How many even prime numbers are there? There is only one even prime number. The number 2 is the only even prime number because every other even number would be divisible by 2, thus making them not a prime number. Alright, round 3, time to put those thinking caps on. The next 20 questions will definitely test you, but hey, if you don't know an answer, there's a good chance you'll learn something new. Let's crack on. Question 31. In Greek mythology, who slayed the Gorgon Medusa? And that was Perseus. Perseus was the son of Zeus and used a mirror-like shield given to him by Athena to avoid looking directly at the Medusa, whose gaze could turn people to stone. Question 32. who composed the opera La Traviata? That was composed by Giuseppe Verdi. La Traviata was first performed in 1853. It is one of the most frequently performed operas in the world and features the famous aria L'abbiamo nel liete calice. Question 33. In which decade was the first episode of the TV show Doctor Who released? It was released back in the 1960s. Doctor Who was first aired on November the 23rd, 1963, just one day after the assassination of President John F. Kennedy, and it is now the longest running sci-fi TV series in the world. Question 34. Which UK comedian writes the dark comedy drama series Black Mirror? And that is written by Charlie Brooker. Charlie Brooker started as a TV critic and satirist, and his creation Black Mirror explores the dark side of modern technology, often with a chilling twist of irony. Question 35. In which type of musical instrument might you play a flam? You would likely play a flam on a set of drums. A flam is a drumming technique where two strokes are played almost simultaneously, creating a fuller, richer sound, often used in marching bands and snare drum solos. Question 36. A ruby wedding anniversary celebrates how many years of marriage? It celebrates 40 years of marriage. We use objects for anniversary milestones to symbolise value, strength and growth, a tradition dating back to medieval Europe where gifts marked the durability of a marriage. Question 37. Which sea is the largest enclosed inland body of water on Earth? And that would be the Caspian Sea. Despite being called a sea, the Caspian Sea is actually a saltwater lake. It's actually larger than the entire country of Japan. Question 38. What type of geographical feature is an isthmus? It is a thin strip of connecting land. An isthmus is a narrow strip of land connecting two larger land areas, such as the Isthmus of Panama, which connects North and South America. Question 39. What nationality was the painter and artist Titian? He was Italian. Titian was a leading figure in the Venetian Renaissance. Known for his vibrant use of colour and dramatic composition, he painted for kings, popes and emperors across Europe. Question 40. Into what body of water does the River Nile flow? It flows into the Mediterranean Sea. The Nile flows north through 11 countries and ends in a fan-shaped delta that empties into the Mediterranean Sea, one of the reasons why Egypt became a cradle of ancient civilization. Now, if you've made it this far in the quiz and you're enjoying the quiz, why not show the channel a bit of love? Smash that like button, subscribe for more content, it's completely free, and don't forget to ring the bell so you never miss an upload. It really helps the channel grow. Now back to the quiz. Question 41. Which celestial body is nicknamed the Dog Star? And that is the star Sirius. Sirius is the brightest star in the night sky, and it is known as the Dog Star because it is the chief star in the constellation Canis Major, which is Latin for greater dog. Question 42. In which year was Alaska purchased by the United States? It was purchased in 1867. The US bought Alaska from Russia for $7.2 million. a deal nicknamed Seward's Folly at the time, but turned out to be a bargain thanks to Alaska's vast natural resources. Question 43. In what US state did the 1979 Three Mile Island nuclear disaster occur? It occurred in Pennsylvania. 3 Mile Island is located near Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and the 1979 incident sparked intense debate over the safety of nuclear energy in the US. Question 44. How many years separate the deaths of Queen Victoria and Queen Elizabeth II? They are separated by 121 years. Queen Victoria died in 1901 and Queen Elizabeth II passed away in 2022. Both were the longest reigning monarchs of their time, each marking the end of a historic era in British history. Question 45. The Quechua language is spoken primarily in which continent? It is mostly spoken in South America. Quechua was the language of the Inca Empire and is still spoken today by millions across Peru, Bolivia, Ecuador and Colombia. Question 46. Who composed the musical scores to the films Pirates of the Caribbean and Inception? They were composed by Hans Zimmer. Hans Zimmer is known for his epic, emotionally charged soundtracks. His work on Inception even helped popularise the Brahms sound used in many modern film trailers. Question 47. Which actor played the role of Lieutenant Commander Data in the TV series Star Trek The Next Generation? He was played by Brent Spiner. Brent Spiner portrayed Data, the beloved android officer who was striving to understand humanity, a role that became one of the most iconic in the Star Trek franchise. Question 48. Misophobia is a pathological fear of what? And that would be the fear of germs. Also known as germophobia, misophobia can lead to obsessive cleaning or avoidance behaviours, and it's often linked to obsessive compulsive disorders. Question 49. Napoleon commissioned the Arc de Triomphe after which of his famous victories? He commissioned it after the Battle of Austerlitz. Napoleon ordered the Arc de Triomphe to be built in 1806 after his decisive victory at Austerlitz, calling it a monument to the glory of the Grand Army. And question 50. The Sibelius Fountain is located in which European capital city? It is located in Madrid. The fountain is one of Madrid's most iconic landmarks and is often used by Real Madrid fans to celebrate major football victories. To finish off, we have one more bonus question. Published in 1980 and later turned into a TV series, Cosmos is a popular science book by which astronomer and Pulitzer Prize winning author? And you can answer in the comments below along with your score. And that concludes today's quiz. Remember to subscribe, definitely smash that like button, and if you enjoyed this quiz, why not try out these other quizzes here. Bye for now.